UFC's conference call. Today's call is being recorded. For opening remarks and introductions, I'd like to turn the conference over to Matt Ranovich. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, guys, and welcome to the UFC 219 conference call. UFC 219 takes place Saturday, December 30th at T-Mobile Arena in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining us today, we have the main event of this stacked card, who square off for the Women's Featherweight Championship. The challenger is the former UFC Women's Bantamweight title holder and multiple weight champion in boxing, Holm. Her opponent is the reigning, defending 145-pound champ who is undefeated in MMA since 2005 and recognized as one of the pound-for-pound best, Cris Cyborg. And with that, we'll go ahead and turn it over for questions.
Thank you. For those on the phone lines, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star one on your telephone keypad. If you're on a speakerphone, please pick up your handset and make sure your mute function has been turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Once again, that's star one for questions, and we'll pause for just a moment to give everyone the opportunity to signal. And again, that's star one. We'll go to Kendrick Johnson with RingTV.com.
How you doing? My question is for Holly. How you doing, Holly? How you doing, Cris?
I'm good. How are you?
Do you think this win will certify you as the most accomplished combat sport female athlete of all time? Being all you done in the boxing ring, what you already done in the octagon, and beating Cris, and being her would be her and Ronda, what people consider the two goats of their divisions.
You know, I know that a win with this would definitely, be a huge thing for my legacy and for my career, but it's definitely not something that would just define it right now. It's, even with a win with this, I would still want to push forward and be succeeding after this fight. I know that there's been fights in my career that I've won, and that's, help with, what I feel is my legacy, but each fight is not the defining fight. It's the whole career and every opponent that's gotten me to here and just the whole journey along the way.
And how much do you draw upon your experience of fighting Ronda when nobody picked you? A lot of people are not picking against you this time to go into a fight with somebody people think that's unbeatable. Is there any parallels, or is this another fight, another person?
I think there are, similarities with the feeling of it, and just knowing that people are kind of having a little bit of doubt. But I think that because I've done it more than once now in boxing, and then, it's probably even more seen with Ronda to be the, underdog and come in. I think that people think, oh, okay, well, Holly is capable of doing some of these things. And so I feel like there's more of a curiosity behind it, not necessarily just, thinking I can't do it, but kind of, I wonder if she's going to do it this time.
And how big a deal would it be to be the first female to have two belts in two weight classes?
Oh, I think it'd be awesome. I've always said I want to do something that nobody else has done. And one of my biggest things coming to MMA from boxing was to be able to hold world titles in both boxing and MMA, because no male or female had done that yet. And here we are. I was able to do that. And here I am up against another opponent to be able to get multiple, world titles in MMA after boxing would be huge. Nobody's done that before. And so, it's a dream of mine to accomplish that. But no matter whether it was for a belt or not, I would still want to win just as bad. That's the competitive spirit in me.
Yeah, my last question is for Cris. Cris, how big a deal has training with Clarissa Shields, who people look at as the best pound-for-pound female boxer in the world right now? How does that help you get ready for somebody as talented as Holly?
I met Clarissa, and I already watch a lot of fights with her, and I like learning all the time. I like learning, training, and meet Clarissa Shields and train with her. She's had so much experience, more than me. I think it's better for my career, not just for this fight. For other fights, for my for me getting better athlete, and and I enjoy the time. She's very talented, and then I want to use the promoter I have to MMA for women's boxing too, because boxing is big, but for women it's not big like the women's now, MMA. And then if I can help her growing her fans base too, why not? We're here for help each other. And then the main thing is to help her growing with women's MMA, because, she's very talented. She get a 2 medal Olympics, and she would be special for all the women, not just fight MMA, but go to the boxing too.
And do you think a win over Holly will certify you as the GOAT, as the greatest female fighter of all time in the octagon?
You can repeat again? Sorry.
Do you think a win over Holly will certify you as the greatest female fighter of all time?
I never think like that. I think I always, I think each fight I respect all my opponents. I have a lot of girls I already fight, and then I think Holly is a great fighter for me. I think because she's big name too. She have a lot of fights, a lot of experience. I think it'd be a great fight. I never think I think I leave the people think like that about me. I don't think like that. I think I have to getting better each time I fight and getting better each time.
And my final question: how would it feel to get a victory over Holly and go the distance? Since people think that you can't go the full 25, would that be kind of cool, kind of killing two birds with one stone, or just all about getting your hand raised regardless of how it happened?
Okay, you can repeat again. I'm sorry, my English not very well. I'm learning.
Will it be more satisfying to get your hand raised, period, or do you like the fact of going 25 minutes with Holly and still getting your hand raised since people don't think you can go the distance, since we've never seen you go a full 25?
And the fights, I think each fight I'm getting better each time. My last fight I did 3 rounds, and then I work my patience. I really getting better each time, and then, it's 25 minutes, I was training for do more than 25 minutes. All my sparring do more than 25 minutes. This is for you have to be prepared for anything, You just can't go fight. You think you're going to finish the first round. But it happened, yes, I'm very blessed about finishing my fight sooner than I think. But you need training to prepare everything. It's MMA, it's 25 minutes, I can use all the tools I have. I can try submit, I can try KO, I can try, I have to feel what fight happen, and then let's see. But we have 25 minutes to finish the fight, I don't think I have to rush, but to have the opportunity to finish the first round, of course I will. But if not, I have 25 minutes.
Look forward to seeing the epic fight, ladies. Thanks for your time. Look forward to seeing you on fight.
Thank you.
Star 1 for questions. We'll hear now from Harry Kettle with Click on MMA.
Hi guys, my first question is for Holly. Holly, throughout your career you've fluctuated between different divisions and you'll obviously be heading back to featherweight for this fight. Is this where you feel you're best able to utilise all of your skills?
I feel like I can perform at either 135 or 145. It's a little different with my diet for this fight. I'm really not having to watch too much of how, portions or anything like that. I'm eating healthy because I want to have energy for training. But it's kind of that I don't have any stress as far as the weight. I just get to focus on my training and have energy for training. And so that's a little bit different than going to 35. I have to be a little more careful with things going to 135. And so it's been nice to not have that stress for this training camp because this is such a big fight. I was able to just kind of put more of my focus on everything else.
And if you were to win the title, would you feel like you've banished the demons from your first title fight at featherweight, or would you still want to go back and get the win against Jermaine?
I always want to. I want to win the fight that I have in front of me, and that's the biggest fight. In a small way, I kind of like to feel like each fight is my last fight because you never really promise anything else. And I want to make the most of this fight. It's its own journey. It's its own fight. It doesn't really have anything to do with my other fights. This is the fight that I have now. And, any loss I have in my past, I would love to be able to avenge that loss. And I would like to be able to come back and win. But that's not really where my thoughts are at all. I'm just focused on this fight that I have right now.
And this is only the second time that you've actually had an MMA fight in Las Vegas. Is there something different about competing in the fight capital of the world, or for you, is it just another day at the office?
It's kind of one of those things that there's a lot going on in Vegas, and I always would feel like, gosh, there's so many distractions there. And, going over to Singapore and Australia is kind of like, it's on the other side of the world, and you can kind of just like zone out. And so I thought, oh gosh, going back to Las Vegas, and I'm kind of just changed my mindset on that and just thought, you know, I'm just going to embrace this. I know that it's going to be a lot going on. It's going to be a lot of excitement. I mean, it's not just any fight card in Vegas, but it's, you know, the last fight card of the year, and it's a busy time in Vegas, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of energy. And my whole thought is just to kind of take it all in and take all that energy in and kind of, you know, just live in it and be in the moment.
Yeah. And my last two questions are for Chris. Chris, has there been one specific thing that you've been working on in training in preparation for someone as dangerous as Holly?
You know, I always, when I have fights, I always train hard just the same, you know, and I think the one thing is very important. When I was making 140, I had a hard time for making 140, but this is helping me my speed, you know, I'm getting faster than when I was 145, and now I'm back to 145. And then because we adjusted so much for 140, we learned a lot of things about my body, you know, make it easier. I make 145, and I really feel blessed, you know, fighting my division. And, you know, I keep training hard, of course, you know, I train and plan for fight Holly, you know, she's different style of all the women I will fight. And, of course, each fight, I challenge myself and getting learning each fight, you know.
And my final question, does it mean a lot to you to be given the opportunity to headline one of the last big events of the year by the UFC?
I feel very thankful, you know, for this opportunity, and then fighting the end of the year, you know, it's a really special time to be with our family, and then I'm focused for my training, my family gonna be in Brazil, you know, but I feel very blessed to have this opportunity and be with my fans, you know, and then, yeah, I think I feel blessed, I feel happy, you know, and then I just feel sad to be with my family, but, you know, I train really hard, and for sure after I'm gonna be with them.
Thanks, guys. Best of luck next weekend.
Thank you. We'll go to Akhilesh Ganarupa with MMA India.
Hey, Holly and Chris. Thank you for taking the time. Hope both of you are doing well. My first couple of questions are for Chris. In the past, you have lobbied for a fight with Ronda Rousey, and now you get to face someone that has defeated her. Does that fact hold any significance for you going into the fight?
You know, when the Holly fight with Ronda, I was really watching that fight, and I just met Holly before we did move together. And then, you know, me and the Ronda really have a hard time to be enemies to fight each other, but she always just talk and never want to fight me, really. And, you know, I watched the fight, she did an amazing fight, you know, that day. You know, I knew I was going to be fight Holly. You know, that day I was making plan fight with Ronda. And when that day Holly beat Ronda, I would say maybe one day soon I'm going to fight Holly. And, you know, I think it'll be cool. I think Holly, the girl beat Ronda, and Ronda never did give the opportunity for the guys, my fans fight me. And, you know, maybe when I fight Holly, you know, is beat her, people maybe they're going to be, she's the girl beat Ronda, and Ronda Cyborg beat Holly, you know. Maybe people are going to think like that. But, you know, I'm not focused anymore on Ronda Rousey, you know. My focus now my next fight.
All right. Before your previous fights, the difficulties in getting down to 145 pounds have been well documented. So I was also wondering, how has your weight cut been coming along this time?
Is this for me?
Yeah, it's for you, Chris.
Again, sorry.
Sure. Before your previous fights, before, you know, even your last fight, the difficulties in you getting down to 145 pounds have been well documented. So I was also wondering how your weight cut is coming along this time.
You know, I'm trying. I know my weight's really good now. I'm really happy about. And then after my last fight in July, I keep training. I went to Thailand. I keep really training. I have a vacation, but I train every day. And watching my diet for not having too much hard time to make 145. And I'm really happy. You know, I work with Rob Emerson. He's helped me my other cut to 145. And I really lighter than before when, you know, I walk like 180, now 185. And now I walk like 170. And then it's very different. But before I was heavy, you know, and now I'm getting working more and more and getting better each year. But I'm really happy today on my weight now.
All right, gotcha. And now, you know, with all due respect to your previous opponents, Holly Holm might be the toughest opponent you've faced in years, given her accomplishments and kickboxing pedigree. Now, do you agree with that assessment that Holly might be your toughest opponent in years? And do you believe this might be the biggest fight of your career?
I don't have one. I think this fight is gonna be great. I think Holly have a good experience, and it's hard to say, man. It's gonna be the hardest fight. I think I have a lot of things in my career. Maybe I can do a lot of more fights in the future, and they have a lot of young girls coming to one fight. But I think it's gonna be a nice fight. I think it'll be a different fight. Maybe this fight I can show more my game. People just know me Cyborg a little bit. I'm a brown belt jiu-jitsu. I have two times world champ jiu-jitsu. I have it wrestling. I can show. Maybe Holly give me the opportunity for show a little bit Cyborg. Not just I think this is gonna be amazing because that. And it should be hard or not. Maybe we're gonna do after the fight. But in future I have a lot of girls, and I can fight you.
All right, thanks, Chris. My next couple of questions for Holly. Firstly, Holly, how important was your last fight against Betch? Knowing that not just in terms of you fighting for the title, but just mentally, after the losses, how important was that win for you?
Well, it always feels good to get a win back under your belt. I know that Cyborg's still a different fighter than Betch was, so it was nice to get a win under my belt. I knew I was capable of it, but I want to keep, on that. I'm going through the 3 losses was definitely took a toll on me, but I know it's not that my losses were like I totally got, dominated. They were all kind of their own situation, and I just let them be learning experiences to better myself for what's to come in my future.
All right, my last question for you. You rely on your ability to throw counters, while Chris is someone who is naturally very aggressive. Now, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the stylistic matchup between you two.
I think that, yes, she's always been, really aggressive in her fights, and she's a strong opponent. And it can be a very intimidating type of fight. And, she might come aggressive and she might not. We're going to be ready for either one. A lot of people, when they're training for a fight, they have their own game plan. She's got her thing she's been working on, and I've got mine that I've been working on. And I'm ready to just kind of, perform what we've been working on. It's not like we've trained this whole camp of, okay, she's aggressive, so she's going to come forward and let's just do this, She might want to stop and counter. She might want to move more. She might want to work on her clinch. She might want to be wrestling. There's a lot going on in an MMA fight, and we've been training to be ready for any of those situations.
All right, gotcha. Thank you, guys, and all the very best for the upcoming fight.
Thank you.
We'll continue on to Damon Martin with FlowCombat.com.
Hey, everybody. First question is for Chris. Chris, I know, you've had a history with the UFC and some problems in the past with Dana White, but you did ink this new contract before this fight. Would you say you're a happy fighter in the UFC and maybe you've turned the page on, some bad feelings in the past with them?
A lot of things changing, and then for me, signing new deal with UFC, a lot of things have changed already, and then I'm really happy for this opportunity now. And when I get that belt, I think it did change, new chapter in my career. I think I did a lot for sport, and then I think I deserve being a big platform like UFC. And then when they give me the opportunity, I love my job, I love do what I'm doing, and then work happy. When you work with one company, want to work with you, change, you getting motivated more and more. I was against, but this is keep motivated anyways. I never quit. I did keep going, and now work together and making me more happy for keep working. And then I'm very thankful for all my fans. I think everything happened in my career. I'm working with UFC now. I think my fans did this. My fans fight for me. Then do everything. My first fight in UFC, I then work on for that. I just accepted the opportunity and did my best I can. And I'm really happy. I think we have a lot of things doing together and growing more and more women's MMA.
And Chris, you mentioned, you have trained with Clarissa Shields quite a bit leading into this fight. I know Dana White has mentioned launching a boxing organization next year. Is that a conversation you'll have with him? Would you like to cross over and do some professional boxing?
One thing I love compete. I love compete. I competed when I was 12 years old. And then sometimes you win, sometimes you lost, but one thing you learn. You learn a lot of things. And then I like compete separate things. I like compete jiu-jitsu. I like compete wrestling. I know Muay Thai. And then if I have the opportunity one day fight boxing, why not? I think when you train one sport like you separate, you learn more. You learn more. And then for me, it'll be really nice. Imagine I finish my career, maybe do one boxing fight. And then if, don't know that, I think I told him if I have the opportunity like McGregor did one boxing fight, man, I would like to do, I mean, I love my job. I love fight. And I love compete. This is my job. And then when I end my career, I don't want to think, I'm supposed to do that. No, I like to do, I like to train hard and do what I have in my front. It might have an opportunity for me.
Awesome. And Chris, you've been so dominant. I mean, you've been undefeated for more than 10 years, but, you've seen in mixed martial arts recently, some longstanding champions have suffered losses like Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and obviously we saw it with Ronda Rousey. Does that put any pressure on you to, continue to win because you have one of the longest streaks, winning streaks in the history of the sport?
When I go inside the cage, I never think, I'm 10 years undefeated. I never think I'm the champion. I never think that. I think man, it's a one spar inside the gym. And then I just train and do my best I can in the gym, and I know in the octagon I'm going to do my best. And then, you cannot make any plans, I always leave in God's hands everything in my life. And I just do my all I can in the cage, and all the victory I leave in his hands. And then because you want to make a plan, maybe not happen, but the plans, God do plans for you. And then I was using my life. I go over there to do all I can, and then if the victory come, if not, I'm still fighting, I'm still training, I still my best I can. But, I feel very blessed that I've been 10 years undefeated. I never stopped training. I always train like number one contender for the belt. I never think I'm the best world. I never think I'm have the belt. If I'm about to hold the 10 years, I never think like that. I think I have to learn every training and then getting humble and go to the gym every day. And I think you never know everything. You need to be ready for learning, open for learning.
And my last question for you, Chris. You have been the most dominant women's featherweight for years. Now that you're in the UFC, I think we only know for sure, you're here, Holly's here, and I know Megan Anderson has been signed, but are you confident that the UFC is going to continue to, find worthy featherweights to sign and, bring in the future?
I have a contract with them now, and then for sure then have to find girls 145. And Megan Anderson was supposed to fight before. I think she's supposed to be contender number one, but we don't have the opportunity to fight. But I would like to fight some girls in my division. I don't think it's nice getting girls 135 back, force them make 145 or then fight 145. I think you when you're the champ, you need to fight. You have to have a record. If you be ready for fight for the belt for 145, you have to be ready. And then I think they're gonna looking for 5 girls 145 pounds.
And a couple questions for Holly. Thank you, Chris. Holly, let me start by asking this. When you fought at 145 back in February, Germaine Durandamy had fought at 145, but she was primarily a bantamweight. Have you done anything different in terms of strength and conditioning or adding extra weight to get ready for this one? Or have you tried to keep it, pretty normal so you don't, suddenly bulk up a lot bigger and then not know how to handle your body? Because obviously Chris is a natural featherweight, whereas maybe Germaine wasn't necessarily a natural 145-pounder.
Yeah, Germaine has fought at 135 a lot, but she's also still taller than both Chris or I. So she's still a different style fighter at 145 than Chris is. And I did keep a little bit more weight on for this fight, but I didn't want to keep bad weight on either and feel sluggish. And yes, I was doing a lot of strength training in between my last fight and this fight, but over the last couple of weeks I kind of shut that down. I feel like I had built my strength in between, and right now, going to do a hard weight training session right now is not going to make me any stronger in 1 week. So I feel like my strength has been done. And I did, put some time into some strength workouts between, my last fight in June and now, because I just kind of had a feeling that this fight might happen. So I do feel stronger. But with the strength workouts, I kind of try to keep it based on kind of explosive strength workouts. I don't really want to just get more muscle that's harder to carry around. Muscle needs oxygen, and the more muscle you have, sometimes it takes a little bit more to move it around. I still want to feel light on my feet. I still want to have speed. I still, so I want to have strength with that speed and mobility, and explosiveness. So I didn't necessarily want to just sit there and just bulk heavy weight on me without, being kind of explosive and feel quick still.
Awesome. I know that, people are going to draw the parallel with this fight and the Ronda fight. But the one question I had, maybe it's an odd one to ask before the fight, but when you beat Ronda immediately afterwards, everyone asked, would you fight her again? Would you give her an immediate rematch because she was such a dominant champion? No offense to Ronda, but obviously Cyborg's been on an even more incredible streak, 10 years undefeated, all these different things. Mm-hmm. Again, would you be willing in that situation, if you had to fight her twice in a row, is that something you'd be willing to do?
Yes. And with Ronda, I was open to a rematch as well. It's just they didn't know how long or when she would come back or when she would want to. And that's when I said, well, I don't want to just wait around. I'll wait if you can tell me that it's going to be within, 6 months or whatever, but I didn't want to just be waiting around for that one fight. I want to be able to fight and train and live out my passions as well. I didn't want it to be based on just one fighter. So I was welcome to the fact to rematch her. It's just they didn't have any answer if she really was going to come back, and if she did, how long it would be, and so I think that situation was different. If that was to happen in this fight, of course I would say yes. I think anybody deserves a rematch. I think that's just the name of the game. That's the fighting spirit, and I would definitely be open to that. And I feel like Chris is definitely a competitive person as well and trains hard. And I don't think that, I think her and Ronda are two very different people. I don't necessarily feel like the situation after the fight would be a little bit different anyway. I don't think that Chris would want to sit aside for a year or however long. I mean, I don't know, but I feel like that there would definitely be, a chance of a rematch if that was to happen.
And my last question, Holly, in another interview you had said that, the crossover to boxing, you said, you've retired from boxing, you're done with that. But I'm curious your opinion, how you think the UFC will do in cross-promoting with boxing, because I think you've spoken out numerous times the problems, with some of the promoters in boxing, maybe some of the promotion with, women's boxing. Would you be excited, even if you're not fighting, would you be excited to see the UFC crossover and promote boxing, and particularly women's boxing?
I think it'd be great if they promoted boxing and brought attention to boxing. And, everybody, UFC is definitely a household. Everybody knows what UFC is. Our sport is actually MMA, but people say, do you do UFC? It's like, well, I do MMA. The promotion I fight for is UFC. You know what I mean? But with that being said, that's how well they're known. So with them being known, if they start promoting, boxing fights, I think that that's definitely going to bring a lot of attention to boxing, and which is great. I definitely want the attention on boxing. I think that these girls that put all their heart and soul into their passion as well deserve the opportunities as well. I don't have any desire to box anymore, and my heart's really set on MMA now, but that doesn't mean that I don't want boxing to excel. I really do want boxing to excel. I obviously had this passion for it for so long, and I'm so grateful at, the life lessons I've had from it. I'm grateful for the, lessons I've learned, even just for what I learned for my career in boxing that has transferred over into MMA. There's a lot of things that I really love about my boxing career. A lot of people say, oh, you don't like boxing anymore? It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I loved to box. I loved it. It's just now I'm so in MMA. I just want to, that's kind of where my passion's at, and that's what I want to do. So, but I really support the boxing still, and I really want these girls to be able to have the best opportunities that they can get.
Awesome. Thank you, Holly. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Keith Schillen with the MMATakeover.com.
Thanks for having me on. My first question is for Cyborg. Cyborg, you mentioned earlier about your grappling. That was an area that H.E.A.T was very successful against Holly. Everyone's expecting a big slugfest between you two. Any chance you take what many people believe is the safe route and go for a takedown and try to out-grapple Holly?
Everybody have a plan. At the fight is different. Everybody can make any plan. The coach can make any plan. But when you fight, it's different. You have to feel what you feel at the fight. The fight, you can see the way to go to the grappling. Of course, I will. If not, I can stay and stand up. But I think, you can have any plans. But inside the cage, it's going to be you, your opponent, and you have to feel how to feel, Sometimes you're not able to do any plan. You just have to get in the fight, and then, but you have to prepare for everything. I don't know, let's see what's going to happen. I like to go to the fight. I like to feel my heart, what we're going to do, and then what's the situation. But, of course, you need to prepare for anything. If you have the opportunity to open the door, you go and go through.
My next question for you, Cyborg, is there was a little kind of beef on social media where you mentioned some USADA testing, Holly responding to you, very unlike Holly. Has this made it any personal with you? Is this going to be, a personal beef between you two, or is it just another fight?
No, I don't have anything against Holly. Holly knows that. And then the beginning about USADA thing, I never means anything about I don't believe in her like that. I just answer what her team say about me, And then I say, man, I'm doing USADA tests all the time. I did a mistake in my career. I did, I paid for that. And then I already prove everything. I'm the first athlete time with USADA before being UFC, for proving I'm athlete clean. Now the guys want to throw rock on me. My team don't have any problem. A lot of athletes have a doping problem. If you be MMA Jackson, most fighters have a doping problem. Then doping. And then why then throw rocks on me? And I just answer then. If then the guys think, I'm no clean athlete, okay, if the USADA come to my house 5 a.m. 20 times during the camp, I think it's right to go to the hall and do the same thing. I just say that, but I'm not saying anything against her. I just answer, her team, and then, just for not have excuses for people say anything, and then I'm open, for doing, and I'm not say like the test she did 2 years ago. I don't say that, she can do most tests 2 years ago. I don't talk about doing the camp, the fight, like for not having any excuses, to say anything, but nothing against her. I just answer the questions and then throw rocks at me.
Okay, thank you, Cyborg. Good luck to you. Now to Holly. Holly, my question is, obviously, you've been very accomplished in boxing, very accomplished in MMA so far. Obviously, a historic win over Ronda Rousey. Where would be beating Cyborg? Where would that rank all time in all your accomplishments in MMA and in boxing? Where would you rank that?
It would definitely be a huge win for me. I think that, with her being so accomplished and to be able to have a win over her it'd obviously be a huge moment for me. It's also kind of going up in weight, going out of my comfort zone, going into, a whole different kind of journey right now. And I'm just embracing it, and it would definitely be huge. But each fight I want to win just as bad. I know that this is going to be a huge fight and very anticipated fight, one that a lot of people are excited to watch. But, yes, it would be a huge time, but I want to win any fight no matter what.
Okay, win or lose, is the plan to stay at 145, or does it go back to 135? Is it try to defend the 145 belt, try to win the 35, competing both? What's the plan afterwards?
Right now I'm just thinking about this fight I have in front of me. I don't want to schedule, put in my head too many things in the future. You can't really plan out your future. If you look back at where you were 5 years ago, I'm sure you probably wouldn't think of everything that's happened over these past 5 years. They probably didn't really go exactly how you thought it would,
Sure.
So, yeah, I would love to take whatever opportunity comes, whether it be at 45 or 35, but I guess I'm not really thinking about it. I'm kind of just stuck on, December 30th is as far as my timeline goes.
All right, just want to thank you guys and wish you both luck.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Susan Sagari with MustLoveMMA.com.
Greetings, ladies. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us today, and Merry Christmas to everyone. My first question is for Holly. Holly, what makes Christiane so dangerous?
Well, she's strong. She's aggressive. She's a bigger fighter than me. She's fought most of her career at 145. I've only had one fight at 145. My fights have, been the 135-pound weight. So she trains hard. I know she does. No, I put nothing past what she can do. She's got a lot of wins under her belt for a reason. She trains hard and she goes in there. She believes in herself and she imposes her will on people. I'm a different fighter though, and I know that this will be a different fight come the 30th.
And my same question for Christiane, what makes Holly so dangerous?
All my opponents, when I go inside cage, is dangerous. When they accept to fight me, I respect and I train hard all the time for the fight. I think I respect all my opponents. I train all my fights the same way. Semi-contender number one. I always respect my opponent, and I always be ready for war. And or you kill, you die. And then this is having my mind, and I just have to do my best I can. And the Holly the same way. She my next opponent, and then I train it really hard for her, same as my other opponent.
What's the key, do you think, to beating Holly?
What is the key?
Key, yeah.
It's MMA. I think it's hard to say like, what are you gonna do at the fight? I think it's the key. I think having my patience. See the right time for to finish the fight, and to see what tools I want to use. And then of course I'm gonna respect her. I know she's have a good game for sure too. But in the fight, it's a fight. You're gonna meet her in the cage. When you start looking each other, there it's gonna be her. It doesn't matter what the plan you have. You're gonna see in the time in there, and they see the way what the way gonna finish. Or they're gonna be in 5 rounds of first round, and I just gonna be myself there, do my best.
And my final question is for Holly. Holly, this fight is really a chance for you to make a real statement. What's that statement going to be, do you think?
Well, I think a lot of, I've had some highs and some lows over the last 2 years. Went from a big high to having a couple losses and then having another win. And this is one of those things that this is a huge challenge for me to take. A lot of girls don't even want to step up in weight to fight at 145, and I wanted to take on this opportunity, and I want to show people I'm taking this opportunity for a reason. I don't want to just say I tried. I want to go in there and do the best I can. I want to go in there and have a victory. So I put a lot on myself for this fight. I've trained very hard, and I know that, this is a huge opportunity for me, and I just don't want to let it pass me by and not make the most.
Thank you very much. Good luck, ladies. We look forward to the fight.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll go to Eric Anderson, footandfist.com.
All right, thank you so much. My first question is for Holly Holm. Your kicks might be your best weapon. Are you going to be hesitant to throw them against Cyborg with a third of the takedown?
I think that any kick can be set up the right way without, getting taken down. Anything is in time, and I'm going to have to read the fight as it goes. You can't map it out in your head, what you're going to do. I think you have to kind of feel the fight when you're in there. I want to be able to use all of my weapons, though, but just at the right time.
Do you feel that you have a cardio advantage and that you'll be able to take control later in the fight?
I know that I train hard, and I know a lot of people know, that one of my strengths is my cardio, but 25 minutes is still tiring, even though I know I can do it, and I know I'm trained for it. It's still tiring, and I know that, I've had 10-round boxing fights, and I've had, a couple of 5-round fights in MMA, and I feel good. I never feel like I'm so depleted that I can't even stand up at the end of a fight. But I know that a lot of people have said, oh, you should take her in the late rounds. And you know what? I know she's not used to the later rounds. That's just a fact. But I still know that she trains really hard, and it doesn't mean that she's going to not want to be there. I know she's still going to be fighting hard all the way through. I expect her to be there and be aggressive and in my face for the full 25 minutes. So I don't sit here and just think, oh, if I make it through 2 rounds, I'm just good to go. I'm ready for 5 rounds of a hard fight.
And the last question for you, if you are able to finish Cyborg, will it be a greater accomplishment than the win against Ronda?
It'll be the greatest accomplishment of my life right now. I can't ever compare the two because they're 2 different situations. But in my life right now, yes, this is going to be the biggest accomplishment I could have. But nothing can take away, the journey I had and the experience I had with my fight with Ronda.
All right. So my next question is for Chris. Would you consider Holly Holm to be the best striker that you have ever fought?
Maybe I think the opponent has more experience to strike. I think, I think Holly is the girl has more experience than all my opponents I face off.
Nobody in the UFC has been able to knock her out. Do you think you're going to knock out Holly Holm?
Most fights in my fights I won from KO, but it's different. I have power in my hands. I believe in my hands, and then for sure, if I find the opportunity and I see the clean time in the KO, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best, and then let's see. Let's see what's gonna happen. I don't think it's a right to say what you're gonna do if you don't know. You have to go over there and then you do your best you can. If you have the opportunity to KO there, her, I will. If not, it's gonna be my first submission. I don't know. I think you have to go over there and see. But I have power hands. All the girls fall in my hands. I think if we go on shot clean, for sure that she's gonna feel the punch.
All right. Thank you both. I hope the 2 of you have a wonderful fight, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. With no additional questions, I'll turn the floor back over to our speaker.
Thank you, everyone, for all the questions today. Thank you to both Holly and Chris for your time. And we'll see everyone in Las Vegas next weekend, UFC 219, December 30th at T-Mobile Arena. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Happy holidays.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Thank you.